had sex and then I never went home.
One of those like weekend long first dates?
No, like the first night we spent apart was probably 2 years later.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not kidding.
What?
I didn't leave.
What? Wait.
I'm not
Hold
joking.
on.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
Dick wipes. Yes, I am telling you about Promescent's new dick wipes. These wipes will help you last longer in bed and take up no more space than a condom. Buy Promescent's new delay wipes today at Promescent, PROMESCENT.com. The Handy is leading a sex toy revolution for the dick havers. So you're going to want to get this one wrapped around your cock with free shipping when you use promo code Billy20 at thehandy.com. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Hey Guidos, Cheetos, and Danny DeVitos. This is Billy Presida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. It'd be so cool if Danny DeVito listened to my show, let alone multiple Danny DeVitos. Hey everybody, welcome. This week on the pod, I have got on Michelle Guido, aka Hey Guido, nay, the unapologetic feminist. We're talking about OnlyFans, borderline personality disorder, and growing up repressed. Had a lot of fun with her and her pseudo security guard, silent friend on the bed, making sure I wasn't a total weirdo. So that was I don't love when the guest needs to have somebody in the room with them, but I totally get and understand and accept why. The lone bright spot in that socially uncomfortable situation for me is that I do end up getting an audience member for the whole show. Because, I say a lot of stuff into this microphone and I think it's funny, but if the guest didn't laugh, then I don't fucking know. So it's nice that I had him and I was like, oh, he confirms if something was good or not. And I like to think I crushed with that audience of one. But first I want to remind y'all that we've got this excellent, sex positive, supportive, super fun, and free online community called The Champagne Room. And to quote one of my favorites, Chris Rock, there is no sex in the Champagne Room. But there is a lot of sex talk in the Champagne Room. Hey, I mean, we've got an entire channel just dedicated to sexual achievement Sunday stories. And one of the channels in the Champagne Room is the episode discussion channel, where you can connect with like-minded listeners about all things Man Whore Podcast, where y'all can discuss the guests that I have here on the show. For example, episode 402 with Dylan Birdsall, when we brought him back, that one was, wow, a lot of emotional reactions in the server to that one. For example, Captain Funkasaurus wrote, holy shit, I feel so empathetic and seen after hearing this one. Dylan is in a very similar space to where I'm at, and I would just love to tell him he's not alone, and it does get better if you keep working on it. Fuck, I needed this episode. If y'all remember that episode with Dylan, episode 402, we were talking about confidence and body image and, well, our fat guys welcome at the sex party. Another listener, Bike Girl 72, she wrote, is it like this for fat women at play parties? I would be so afraid that no one would want me, and I don't know how I would handle that, and why I'm afraid to explore this option. Like, I married the second man I dated, afraid no one else would want me. Fear of rejection because of our body seems to be a very shared fear among us. Invader 1337 wrote, this was an amazing and heartfelt conversation. It made me think about how, like Billy said a bit further up, we all have feelings of inadequacy. Some of the more standardly attractive people I know seem to only see and speak to the flaws they see in themselves. And what really resonates with me is not wanting to be scary to people. I'm 6'5" and learn to smile constantly in public, just to try and help others feel at ease. I'd also slouch my shoulders and diminish myself to appear less threatening. Hashtag tall people problems. Had no idea. And one other comment I'll read. There were a lot for this episode, but Laura wrote, I related to this hard. The person not picked at the sex party fear is really what makes me not want to go to sex parties. That being said, I love a big dude with a beard, and I am actively resisting the urge to slide into Dylan's DMs and tell him how much I enjoyed this episode, because I also don't want to be a creep. To which I encourage Laura, slide, girl, slide. Fucking do it. So yeah, if you want to join the conversation, you want to connect with like-minded listeners, it is free to join the Champagne Room. Introduce yourself today at manwhorepod.com/Discord. Now, over the years, many of you have heard me possibly complain about about the complaints about my monologues, about my intros, how apparently there are some of you who just really are averse to me talking by myself. So I'm going to try something a little new. I'm just going to try a little something. We're going to call it a max speed monologue. Instead of going on and on about one or two topics, I'm just going to try to barrel through several things I wanted to share with y'all. And I don't know. I'm going to see if I can do this in a minute. I think I can do this in a minute, but we're going to see. So I'm just going to, we're going to rev up, max speed monologue, and go. Number 1, Hacienda. We had Hacienda on Saturday night, and I looked like a goddamn snack. Go check my Instagram if you want to see the outfit. And I fucked a stranger for the first time at one of these parties. I don't normally do that, especially because earlier that day on the J train, I had a knife pulled on me 6 inches to my face. And I know what you're thinking, Billy, what were you wearing? MasterCard has some scary rule changes coming up on Saturday, October 15th. It's the end of the porn as we know it. Or is it? Sex workers are freaking out online. Is it warranted or not? We're sadly going to have to wait till the 15th to find out. There's a new law in California. An anti-stealthing law has officially been passed and signed. If you remove a condom without the consent of your partner, guess what? You're going to jail. Just fucking stop. What are you doing? And last but not least, in the realm of, hey, what are you doing? I did visit Show World, the adult theater with all the glory holes out on Long Island on Sunday night. I don't know. I was feeling squirrely, but you know what? I'm good. Can a guy jerk off in a peep show booth without people constantly opening the curtain? Leave me alone. I'm trying to jerk off semi in public over here. And that was the max speed monologue. How'd I do? Oh, okay. But a minute and a half's not bad, considering sometimes I'll go on 12, 15 minutes about just one topic. And who needs that? Not me. Before I get to my guest this week, Michelle Guido, we're going to do a little fan whore appreciation moment. Okay. This is the part of the podcast where I like to give a shout out to a member of the fan whore community on Patreon. Big shout out to Jamie Hartman. It was so great to meet you at ManWhoreCon. I hear you had... I'll just say I hear you had a good time. Aren't fan whores such a fun, flirty, and cuddly group? I'm glad you had a ball or two in your mouth, maybe. I'm not sure. I wasn't in the bed or under it, as my mother would say. But it's been great having you part of the community and in the Peep Show. Do you not know about the Peep Show, people? Oh, y'all are missing out if you don't know about the Peep Show. The Peep Show is our super sexy group chat on Telegram. It's available to all of my $10 and up members on Patreon. And it's just a group chat where we share nudes, gifts, and compliments all day, every day. And you can join us in there, either in the Peep Show or at any reward tier, and gain access to oh so much more content. And you also get to have the satisfaction of knowing you're keeping a roof over my head. Become a member today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And a real quick business, a real brief point of order over here. One of our sponsors this week, Promescent, they're back. We're talking about the dick wipes. Just to clear up if there's any confusion, no, there is no promo code this time. When you go to make your order, just do fill in the box at checkout where it says, where did you hear about us? Do make sure you say my name or you say the Man Whore Podcast so they know who sent you. I'll tell you more about the dick wipes during the ad read because I didn't use the wipes, but I used the spray. In a moment. My guest this week, Michelle Guido. You might know her on Twitter and Instagram at Hey Guido. You might have been a fan of her prior work on YouTube and Facebook with The Unapologetic Feminist. You're going to hear momentarily why she's leaned a bit away from that work and how she's leaned into the sex work. Specifically, shooting that sexy content for that platform. Let's go chat with Michelle Guido. When I'm watching VR porn, it looks so realistic. It really does seem like she is right there in front of me with her hand wrapped around my cock, all oiled up. It really looks that way with those fucking goggles on. The only thing that's missing from this realistic visual is a realistic sensation down below as it's happening. Until the handy. One of our sponsors this week, and legitimately one of my favorite sex toys that I own. Oh my gosh. It's a hand job machine. This is the most realistic feeling automated stroker I've ever stuck my dick in. And over the last 7.5 years, I have stuck my dick in some toys, people. And it's just never been for me until our friends in Norway invented a better way to do it. So now when I got that VR headset on, and it really does look like she's right there in front of me, now when I link it to my handy, it also feels like she's right there in front of me. And you can get expedited free shipping when you use my promo code Billy20, BILLY20 at thehandy.com. Get your handy today at thehandy, HANDY.com, and use the promo code Billy20 at checkout. The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by Promescent. Now, I actually have a story for Promescent from this past weekend because, I accidentally found myself in a marathon jerking off session. I'm not proud to say this, but I think I aggregate jerked off for like 5 hours. I think I did a couple of super long sessions, and then that's kind of what led me to go out to Long Island to go to the Peep Show booths because like, you know what? Maybe I'll go out there and something crazy will happen. Maybe there will be women there at the glory hole. Maybe there will be someone who I can kind of round up to a woman at the glory hole. Maybe I'll just want to go jerking in a semi-public space. But I was throbbing so hard. I was so incredibly sensitive and turned on that I was like really nervous. I would drive out there. It's like 45 minutes. I would drive out there and I'd get there and I would like not be able to control myself and I would come way too quickly. So what did I do? I took out my Promescent delay spray, my climax control spray from Promescent. And as I was approaching the place, I pulled over, I whipped my dick out and I gave it a few sprays. Now, I don't suffer from premature ejaculation, so I don't need the full dosage. I gave myself like 2 or 3 sprays. And 10 minutes later, I'm not going to say my cock was numb, but my cock was definitely less sensitive than it was during that entire car ride. Seriously, like I was nervous I was going to come in my pants in the car just from vibrations of driving. That's how incredibly sensitive I was. I mean, if you are into edging, if you are into lasting a little longer in bed, and this is not their official usage, but I have heard stories that if you want to make anal a little easier, spraying this once or twice on the butthole might assist in that endeavor. And now they even have a new product for the more casual and convenient user. They've got dick wipes, the Promescent Delay wipes. You can stick 1 or 2 of those little packs in your pocket, tear it open, swipe, and you're good to go. Great for someone who just needs a little extra assistance in the stamina department. Pick yours up today at promescent.com. That's P as in Peter, ROMESCENT.com, or you can click the link in the show notes. Now let's get to the show.
I didn't start OnlyFans to get to where I am now. Like, it was just going to be lingerie at first. Like, I was like, you know what? Let me make one, put some lingerie and make some extra money. Because I literally just quit my job. There's a pandemic and now nobody's hiring. So that's kind of how that started.
Did you have to do like a negotiation in your head of like, okay, I'll do lingerie, but I'm not going to do this? Or?
Yes, there were a lot of changes along the way. So OnlyFans has really been like an avenue where I have explored like my sexuality and just openness with sex. I grew up like Catholic, and
I can hear it in the accent. Calendar, sinning,
yeah.
abstinence.
I was very prude for like.
He's my audience this entire time. That's how I'm gonna know something was fine.
He's gonna give it away when he laughs. I was very prude for a very long time. So when I first started, I was like, just lingerie. Like me and my husband had obviously a conversation about boundaries and like what he was comfortable with what I am comfortable with. And it has changed along the way. We've had, new conversations of like, you know what, maybe I am comfortable with this, but it definitely didn't start off as me thinking I was going to be like eating pussy on camera. So
You're eating pussy on camera.
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I get a lot of people that are like, can you do boy-girl stuff? And I'm like, I don't do boy-girl stuff. I'm sorry. I actually, not that they don't like what I do, which I work with either women or non-binary individuals. I don't do anything with men. My husband doesn't want to be on there, but I get a lot of requests for girl boy, and I'm like, there's so many creators that do it. Why do you have to try to make me do it?
Because you're not doing it. If you were doing it, they wouldn't request as much.
I know.
They'd be, if you weren't posting as much girl, they'd be like, can you hook up with more girls?
Yeah.
They just want you to do what you do.
Yeah.
I don't hook up with dudes IRL or on camera, and they're like,
Yeah.
can you do some stuff with dicks? And I'd love to see a dude fuck you. But if I was fucking dudes in the beginning, they'd be like, you can do stuff with women. They just want the people to transgress on camera
really,
for them.
really do.
And they want to pay as little as possible to see it.
Yeah.
Preferably zero.
Oh, yeah. They want the free samples of your whole video.
So what was it like finally, like, what was it like exposing the lingerie photos to start with?
That was not uncomfortable. That was fine.
Yeah.
And I only did that for months, and I made a decent income on doing that. I mean, I was making like $5,000 a month.
And now,
just doing the lingerie.
and did you do like all those like the Reddit hustles and share for shares, or was this just like the fan base that pre-existed?
So I tried all that stuff, but yeah, it was just the fan base that pre-existed. I tried Reddit. I can't figure it out. The share for shares, I don't believe really work. I think people follow you on OnlyFans because they're a fan of you. I'll share somebody every once in a while, very rarely. And I noticed that only an average of like 5 guys will go to that new girls page. And I really believe it's just because they want to follow who they know on social media. But yeah, it was starting off, it was my Twitter. But then I saw that TikTok was a really good avenue. So I started building that. And like, holy shit, TikTok is the avenue to go for OnlyFans.
Really?
Yes.
See, I thought it would be so suppressive.
Oh, it's hard to be on there. I mean, they block me. They're going to delete my account with 120,000 people. I built a backup because they've threatened to do that with 50,000. They've threatened to take that now. I mean, it is hard.
What is it that you're showing that they're so upset about?
Just even alluding. I mean, I think once they know that you're a sex worker, you're flagged. My most popular videos are me in a Pokemon onesie. And I don't know, like, I'm on there in a maid's outfit. I'm on there, in different things. And I put on that Pokemon onesie, and I don't know what it is about that.
They're like, that's what Michelle's like at home. That's what she's. If I were with Michelle, that's what I would walk into the living room and see. I think that's the exciting thing to them.
It is. It is.
That's wild, and it's a good time to say I'm here with Michelle Guido. Yeah. What were you doing before doing OnlyFans online?
I started a YouTube channel at first. It wasn't ever really my most successful avenue, but I started one because I went to college and I took a couple classes and I learned about feminism. And I grew up in a town where I thought, like, I believed the feminism is a man-hating cult.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Who taught you that?
I never learned anything really different. Oh, close. I never learned anything really different. They don't really talk about it in school and high schools, and they don't really teach you about that. And so I went and I got a higher education, and I started to learn about it, and I'm like, this isn't what I thought it was. And I'm like, you know what? I know why a lot of people think it's this. And maybe I can make content online and reach those people that have this view, because I had this view. I used to hate feminists. I used to be like, I have talked shit about feminists online.
Really?
Yeah.
Up until like when? Like 16, 17?
Oh no, we're older than that.
Oh my.
Like 23, probably 22, 23 is when I, started getting the higher education and learned differently.
Is that because, are you like the bridge to the Midwest? Are you like feminism's
Yeah.
bridge? Like, do you know, because why would you even, because as a kid, you don't just think like, yeah, feminists suck until you learn better. Someone has to kind of like put that in your ear.
Well, you have to remember, I'm not in New York. I'm
Right.
in the middle of nowhere in cornfields where I grew up. It's just cornfields. So we're not
Right.
having these conversations. So, you kind of get that idea, I guess, when you're not having those conversations. And so that was kind of my starting point of like, maybe I can change some minds because I know why they think this. So I definitely started trying to have conversations, and I definitely had a lot of bad faith conversations.
Yeah. Internet's full of those.
Yeah. But yeah, that is like kind of when I started. And then I kind of went from there to, I wanted to grow a platform. I wanted to have a voice in that. But nowadays I've taken more of a back seat because when I started, I was still learning, and I think that I am a woman and I do deserve to have my voice heard in that space. My opinions and my voice deserves to be heard. But the more I listened and learned to others, the more I realized like, I'm a white woman. I don't need to be a leading voice in feminism right now.
You don't?
No, I don't. It's not I stopped trying to, be the leading voice. Not that I was trying to be the top leading voice, but at one point I was really trying to work that angle, and I wanted to maybe, write books and do speeches. And then I got more into intersectional feminism, and I thought, we don't need any more books by white women on feminism. So,
And then it's like, what else to write about?
yeah, exactly. So I am still an activist. I'm still definitely a feminist activist, but I am taking more of a back seat because of the fact that I don't think that I need to be a leader in the area.
Yeah. When you're first getting exposed to these like feminist ideas, in college, as you're learning it in a different environment, is any of it blowing your mind? Was there anything that kind of like initially rocked your world? Did you fight it a lot for those 4 years? 5 if you were having a really good time?
6.
Way to go. That would have been my dad's style if he ever went.
Yeah.
Like feminist Van Wilder.
I don't remember. I do remember being like, kind of shook. I remember a woman saying or a woman teacher saying she didn't take her husband's last name. And I was like, what? We don't have to do that? Yeah. And then I didn't take my husband's last name. And, but that of course wasn't the most important thing that stuck out to me. But yeah, there were a lot of things that kind of blur together now because I'm, 30 now, but a lot of injustices with people of color that I didn't know. I mean, I don't use my degree so much like in my career, but like I don't regret getting it because of the person like it turned me into, just like learning all of that.
Yeah. Do you feel like having your upbringing and your education makes you like someone better suited to like reach out and try to educate people from back there?
Yeah, but
because you can speak their language.
Yeah, but I do less of it now because it's not work. You gotta preaching to the people that just don't get it. More times than not, you get bad faith arguments and they don't want to learn. And that's what I went into it thinking, oh, they want to learn like me. They just don't understand. Yeah. And I learned that most of them do not want to learn, and they're just gonna make you expel all your energy and make you go in a circle, and they don't have any idea what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. They don't really want to change.
There's not really, there's
really
no curiosity.
Yeah, they don't want to change the belief.
Yeah, no one like wants their belief system challenged right now.
No.
I think also on the left, I think like we are in a country of people who like are really set in however they think.
It's on both sides.
Yeah, like I'll hear people like criticize a comedy special that they haven't watched. Not that the special isn't worth criticizing, but you do have to watch the thing to like be able to like otherwise it's textbook ignorance. And people want to go nuts.
It's a sheep thing, I think. You know, it's when your side says something is bad, a lot of people just go with that thinking. They don't challenge it and they don't want to think anything different.
Yeah.
So
what was the like attitude towards like sexuality and gender growing up where you grew up? I know you said you were raised Catholic.
Yeah, so religion definitely put an idea on me, but then I also had a mother that was very like a very sexual like person. Like she didn't ever put any. I mean, I had a boyfriend in high school where I was allowed to go in my bedroom with the door shut. He was allowed to sleep over. Wow. But I wasn't having sex with him. And, you know, I could have easily been, but I think part of that was definitely religion, which I got through my grandmother, not my mother. But yeah, I mean, I could have been, but you know.
Did you ever tell your mom that you weren't having sex during all that? Like,
yeah. I mean,
and did she go like, what the fuck? I gave you the opportunity. I gave you the rule system. Like I was inviting you to do it.
She didn't, you know, I mean, it wasn't something that she thought that was my choice. And if I wanted to do that, then that was fine. And so, yeah, she didn't put any roadblocks up. And now I look back at that and I'm like, that's crazy.
Right?
I mean, we were like 17 and 18 years old for like 6 months. That poor guy.
But it's wild. It's wild that like, you know, you had that freedom to do so and you still didn't choose it. And it's not because like mom secretly, like, I don't know. I bet you mom probably is like, yeah, I hope she's like experimenting with the thing. But it sounds like grandma was more the influence.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
My grandmother played a big role in raising me. So like, you know, I went to church.
Was mom
camp.
off being too sexual? Is that what the
yeah, sometimes, yeah. Yeah. You know, my grandmother was very Catholic, even though, you know, she's not around anymore. So there's so many questions I'd like to ask her, but she was also married 5 times. So, you know, now as an adult, I'm like, wait a minute, like, how are you this Catholic? But like, yeah, I mean, I said my prayers before bed. I said my prayers when I woke up. I went to church camp. Like, I blocked a lot of it out. Oh, yeah. But like, I mean, I was doing everything besides sex. With that guy, you know, I thought like, oh yeah, I can suck his dick. That's fine. But like having sex is what's bad.
As you wipe the cum off your face, you're like, yeah, this is Jesus approved.
Yeah.
This is fine.
This is fine. It's totally fine.
I bet you Mary took loads to the face. Totally okay. She was a virgin, right, everybody?
Yeah. That's, maybe I should have just done it and lied about it. I mean, apparently that's fine.
Was the exposure to feminism, did that kind of give any sort of permission structure to like start exploring more sexually?
No. You know, like when I finally like had sex, I was almost 20 and I really just had sex because I wanted to like finally get it over with. Like it wasn't, you know, and so I did that and then that didn't end that well. And then I was like, you know, we had dated for 2 years or whatever. And, you know, he was cheating on me, which whatever, we were young kids, you know what I mean? But it's like I waited so long and then I lost it to this guy and then this girl posted photos of them. And so I was like, oh, what?
Wait, what happened there?
She like posted photos of them online, but like, you know, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I waited so long to lose my quote unquote virginity, which I don't really believe in anymore. But at the time I did. And I was like, and then look what happened. So we broke up after 2 years and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go out and have like a one night stand, or I'm finally going to do something crazy. And there's this guy at work and I'm going to have a one night stand with him, and, or maybe like 2 or 3 times if he's good at it. And like now I'm married to him. So
that was the guy.
Well, yeah.
That was the guy.
Yeah. So I think I did it wrong. But
what was this? Was this the car rental job? Or
no, it was Walgreens.
Oh, just you fucked your Walgreens employee?
Yeah, I did. And like, so yeah, I literally just, I was gonna go crazy, and then I mean,
it's definitely crazy fucking a Walgreens coworker, I think. So. I'm more of a CVS guy myself, so.
We didn't do it in Walgreens, but you know.
Oh, I fucked a woman in the back of a Carvel once. That was interesting.
Oh my god.
Yeah, match on app. She's like, I work at Carvel. I get off at this time. I was like, you want to like keep the door unlocked?
Oh my goodness.
I went in there and like I think I ate her out on like a cooler.
Oh, in the car?
No. Like in the back, like she was closing down and she like closed down on her own.
Oh.
And then like, I just went into the back. Like she propped open the back door and I just walked in. And I met this woman right away for the first time and just kind of went at it and did things. And then afterwards, she made me a milkshake. She made a really nice chocolate milkshake.
Yeah,
She's like, you want like any ice cream? We are in Carvel.
That's hilarious. Yeah, see, I never, you know, I wish I had some stories like that, but I was like so not crazy. I married the one night stand guy. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was hitting on him like as someone who had not really been that promiscuous and you had an intention in your mind like that guy, I'm gonna fuck this guy and I'm gonna do 1 to 3 times depending on his skill level. And oh shit, I gotta go approach. So I was like, what'd you do? What was the meet cute?
I mean, he was into me. It was obvious, so I just asked him for his phone number.
Was he like equally kind of sexually suppressed?
No.
Okay, he was just chilling.
He had more experience than I did, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what was that first time like?
We had sex and then I never went home.
One of those like weekend long first dates.
No, like the first night we spent apart was probably 2 years later.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not kidding.
What are you? What?
I didn't leave.
What? Wait.
I'm not
Hold
joking.
on. Okay, let me get a couple pieces of information real quick. Like, is there an age difference?
Not really.
Not really.
Like 2 years.
Okay, but like he might have had like his own space or something like that. At that
He
point.
lived in his brother's basement.
You went to live with your Walgreens coworker. Attempted one night stand in his brother's. Were you homeless or were you okay?
You know, his brother was his best man at our wedding and gave a speech about my walk of shames every morning out of his basement.
Yeah, but the walk of shame usually involves like going home.
Yeah, like I would go home and get dressed and go to work, but then I would come back at night. And I just never left. I am a very clingy person.
Yeah?
So, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll admit that.
What was it that drew you to him that made you not want to leave?
He didn't make me leave.
Yeah. It was as simple as that. He's like, I'm not gonna kick you out. You leave when you want to.
Yeah, you know, all of my relationships, not only with like men, but just like friends and like parents and stuff, I have BPD. So
Bipolar?
Borderline personality
okay.
disorder. So everybody has kind of at one point or another, like my past relationships had made me feel either not good enough at one point or like I annoyed them or you know, we'd get in a fight. It was very up and down, like all of my past relationships, break up and make up. And partially of that was because of the men I dated, but partially was because of my own issues of you can compliment me 100 times, but I'm going to remember the one time that you made me feel not good enough. And I just played in my head over and over. So he never made me feel like the sun didn't shine out of my ass. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what did it. He never made me feel like I needed to leave or I never felt annoying or, yeah.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Because then you go home, then it's like, well, there's no one there to remind you, like, hey, you're like a decent human being.
Yeah. I mean, I had a toxic home life too. So, you know, it was good to be able to get out of that.
Yeah. And what was it like to, like, you had this mission, you were like, I'm going to fuck this Walgreens in his fun vest that we all wear. And what like, did that, whatever suppression and maybe shames that was around from growing up was, you know, and grandma in the back of your head. Was any of that still there after that first time? Was it instantly gone? Did that take time?
I had told him at one point, I'm like, we're not dating. Like we can have sex with other people. Like, cause in my head, I was still like, I'm gonna have sex with other people. And then he's like, no, we can't. And I was like, what? And he's like, you haven't left in months. We're not having sex with other people.
That was the exclusivity talk was no, you can't.
Yeah. He's like, if you have sex with someone else, I'm done. And I was like, all right, I won't then.
And you haven't had sex with anyone else off camera since?
Yeah, just on camera.
Mazel.
Yeah.
That's wild. And so that's been like 10 years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Holy
10
shit.
years.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Thanks.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is.
When did you get diagnosed with borderline?
3 years ago?
Oh, so like back then you had no idea.
Oh, no, I had you. And
my.
It's a lot harder navigating life not knowing why I was doing some of the things I was doing.
What clarity in your sex and dating life kind of came into view once you got that diagnosis?
The way that I can't let things go, like the way, when something hurts me, I can't let that go. Some of my clinginess, definitely. I get so afraid that people are going to leave me that sometimes I will suffocate them to death.
Oh my God, did you kill somebody?
And,
I have an ex who put an ex-girlfriend in the hospital, but that's kind of the height of it. I've never had a murderer.
No, I mean,
on the show.
I hit a guy with a car once, but that was it.
Seriously? Please tell me that's real.
It is.
It is? Oh my God, what happened?
Okay, to be fair,
you love I hit a guy with a car on purpose story that starts with, in my defense.
in my defense, he was not a very good guy, and I was trying to leave the situation, and he wouldn't get out from in front of the fucking car. I didn't hit him hard. I bumped him you're gonna get out of the front, but he was trying to prevent me from leaving. So yeah, I bumped him with the car, and he was like, "You just hit me with your car," and I'm like, "Get the fuck out from in front of my car and let me go."
What was that what was going on over there?
It was a very toxic relationship, but again, we were young, 20, 21, 19, 20, 21. At that age, you don't even have your frontal cortex of your brain fully developed. So we're walking around without fully developed brains. So I don't really know him anymore.
I mean, however he was treating you, did you think that was just how relationships worked?
I was so desperate to be loved that I was willing to take it. Yeah.
But you knew I don't deserve to be treated this way.
I knew it wasn't right, but I just didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to not be loved.
I know so many people who will go bat so hard for their friends, or who will insist that their friends leave XYZ toxic situation, relationship. Don't fuck that guy. He's done but then when it comes to their own love lives, it's really hard for them to enforce the same advice and the same suggestions. Yeah,
that's why I don't give people advice like that. I just, I don't know what you're going through, and I've definitely dealt with it. I mean, that guy he was abusive. There was cheating, there was drugs, there was a lot of stuff, but I just ignored it because, I needed to be loved, and even though that wasn't love, but I mean, he tattooed a down to fuck tattoo on his arm while we were dating.
That's a winner.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't know him anymore. I don't know who he is as an adult, and I'm sure he's probably lovely, but
oh, you do?
I really think that he is, from what I've seen, I really do believe that he's probably off the drugs and stuff, is probably a much better man. But
does that make you feel differently about any abuse that was going down?
Yeah, I don't really, I'll make jokes, about the cheating and stuff, and people will be like, well, that's not funny. I'm like, we're who cares? That doesn't bother me. I mean, some of the abusive stuff does, but you're trying to figure it out, and you're young, and you're a kid, and I don't know. Maybe I don't hold on to it like some people. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, you sound very almost forgiving about it.
Yeah. I mean, he has a daughter. I'm sure he's a lovely father, and I wish him nothing but the best, honestly. If he reached out to me and needed something, I'd probably still be there. I'm the kind of person that if I loved you, I'll always have love for you. Just stay away from me.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And how has the bipolar kind of played into your relationship with your husband over the last decade? Does that cause any difficulties, or does it go smooth sailing? Or?
Borderline personality disorder, but
oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah. I mean, well, it really helps that he doesn't make me feel like I'm not like, the sun doesn't shine out my ass, that helps. But yeah, I mean, off medications, and, there's been times where, I wasn't on meds and I trashed the whole house. Yeah, I mean, there's been times that were kind of rough just because of my mental state. Yeah. But like now, like when I'm in a good mental state, it doesn't really. He's very much like, we're going to talk this out. I'm not going to like get up and leave. And like for me, if you get up and leave, that's the abandonment. Right. So I think that he kind of, knows that, like he is clued in on that. So
he doesn't do the thing either everyone else did or that you're always worried everyone else is going to do. He's like, you can throw as many plates as you want. I'm going to sit on this couch and wait for you to calm down. Does that sound about right? Or
he might storm off, he temporarily might, but he'll come back. He'll come right back. Like, he's not going to leave the house. Like, he might step away for a minute, depending on what the situation is. But he'll come back and be like, let's talk.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was, or is, I don't know if it's was, is, will be, but what was the unapologetic feminist?
Me being unapologetically myself. And, I'm going to tell you what I think unapologetically, I guess.
And now, that Facebook page is huge and massive.
I know, and I've stopped using it. And I don't, like I said, I'm kind of taking a back seat. I kind of want to, get back into that a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely taking a back seat a little bit.
But was that like an offshoot of the YouTube channel you were doing, or what was that whole brand? What was it that you were doing?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of feminist content on YouTube, but YouTube is the worst. And I had gotten a very bad stalker on YouTube. And YouTube didn't, I
assume, because he didn't like the feminism.
He found me on YouTube, slid into my DMs on Twitter, asked me to fuck. I said no. And he stalked me horrifically for 2 years.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What'd that look like?
Sending me pictures of my house. He got my phone number somehow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, called me over and over again. He would describe how he was going to rape and kill me. He would send me pictures of him and his gun. He told the cops he was going to kill me.
And they did nothing. And they didn't do anything.
No, they didn't do anything.
Officer.
Yeah.
Going to kill her. Have a nice day. You look very white. Probably fine. Go on. Go forth.
And then he went to jail because of his next victim. He showed up with the gun. Yeah. So I'm thankful he didn't escalate. He didn't hurt them, but he showed up and was arrested, and he swatted them. He had them swatted too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he escalated.
And you were with your then boyfriend, maybe husband at the time, right?
And he told him he was going to kill me. He told everyone. I had kept blocking numbers. He masked his number as my dad.
Yeah.
And so when the call came through, it said my dad was calling. So I answered it, and it was him. He said, "Hi, this is your dad." And I knew by the voice. And I was like, what the fuck? He called my sister, told her he was going to murder her. It was bad.
I mean, would that set off any of the borderline, or would that just set things off in general? That sounds terrifying.
I found out where he lived, and I wanted to go down there and dig a grave in his front yard and leave a shovel there.
So you don't play around really either.
I was told don't do it. I was seriously I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna dig a grave in the middle of the night in his fucking yard, and I'm gonna put the shovel there.
You're ready to take out the hoop earrings, key the car. You're just I can fight too.
I mean, that is why I have a gun now.
Oh my gosh, you have a gun?
Yeah, and eventually I just got sick of it, and I was like, all right, come get me.
Here?
Is it here?
Is it here?
No.
I don't know.
Can you even have a gun in New York? I don't know.
No, but that's why I'm just I don't know. I don't really see them in real life. So anytime someone's I'm like, can I just see? I was like, that's cool.
You haven't seen a gun?
I mean, not many. There was a chick in Texas once who when I was out there visiting her in Odessa, she was like, "Oh yeah, I've got like a little." I was driving her home. I have a little gun in my like purse. I was like, "Can I see it?" Because I was like, I'm a sheltered New Yorker. I'm not from upstate where like they do have the guns.
That's so cute.
I grew up in the burbs of Jersey. I went to college
here. I've
seen
like ARs up close. I mean, I don't condone that. I don't think anyone should own one, but I know people that do.
So I had a knife point in my face on Saturday at like 3 p.m. on the J train. That was like a first for me. I'm 32 years old.
Oh my God, I'm so
like,
sorry.
I'm just like, weapons are like a weird concept to me. So again, if I hear like of someone who's a gun owner, I'm just like, that's fascinating. Because I'm also just like, I feel like if the shit, I've been contemplating for the last couple of years, like, do I need a gun? Because like,
I think yes.
Yeah, because if shit goes zombie-esque,
well,
I don't know.
It's not even for zombies or to take over the government. It's because I don't believe that cops are gonna protect. I don't believe they'll protect you. So I got a gun because like if someone's gonna come in my house and get me, I'm gonna protect myself. Like now I'm like everybody should. I don't believe that you need like 500 guns. Like I don't. I believe in strict gun laws for sure. But yes, I think that everybody should have one in their house because you're gonna call the cops. They're gonna take 30 minutes to get there, and if someone's trying to break in your house, you're probably dead if they have one. So
did you get the gun in response to the stalker?
Oh yeah, I have a shotgun. Like I'm.
Yeah. But you got like after that was going.
Oh
down.
Yeah. I sleep with it by my bed still.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You like spoon with it? And is
No,
it the
but
big
it's-
spoon or the little spoon? And where's your husband in that factor?
Well, it's on his side
on
of
his
the bed.
side.
I'm gonna let him use it, but like it's on our, and we're not gonna miss.
It's our shotgun.
It's our shotgun.
Honey, it is our shotgun.
I paid for it, but it's our shotgun.
I mean, did the stalker like put any strain on the relationship anytime?
Oh no.
No, cool.
I mean, he scared us.
Sure.
It was unsettling, but finally I'm just like, all right, come get me. He didn't, which was really bad because the next person he went to their house. So like, but it turned out he lived in Texas. So that is another reason the cops wouldn't do anything was because he lived in Texas, but that his next victim also lived in Texas. So yeah.
They said, yeah. And so now why would you believe the cops are going to do anything? It's
Yeah.
just like, he says I'm going to do it. And they were just like, have a nice fucking day.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, he went to jail.
Yeah. I mean, the laws are just so fucking nuts. I have a friend of mine who was on the show maybe a couple months ago. She's also a sex worker, Lucy Moon. And she shared this story about this like stalker who she like ended up getting to take to court out in her city. And, the judge basically said, look, and she gave the guy a stern fucking talk, but she's like, under the laws, I can't really do anything. I can't grant this like order of protection right now. But like, if you do fucking anything, like I'm gonna mess with your kids' custody stuff, I will be able to grant that. But because sometimes people just hands are tied, and it's insane that the system is set up that way.
Yeah, I was like, so he literally has to hurt me before something happens.
Right, and it's like, can't this be a little pinch more preventative?
Yeah, I don't think the laws have caught up with the social media. Like, I don't think like cyberbullying and stalking and on social media, I don't think it's caught up.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. We're still like on snail mail laws.
Yeah, no, that is truly wild, and yet you still choose, just like kind of stay in the public eye. When did you stop doing the unapologetic feminist as like a regular thing?
Over a year ago, like regularly, probably over a year ago.
So like when you started doing OnlyFans, that's when you were like, I'm gonna phase this out. I'm gonna phase this in.
Yeah, I mean, I was already kind of phasing it out, but then like I got into OnlyFans, and it was like I don't have time to do everything.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
kind of, yeah.
Okay. So I find it so otherwise you are like a monogamous couple, it sounds like. But it is interesting that y'all have had these like multiple conversations regarding OnlyFans. It sounds similar to a conversation like non-monogamous couples would have.
Yeah.
Like revisiting boundaries and like what are we cool with and not cool with?
Yeah.
Oh, that made me a little feel this way. Can we so you were going to start off just doing lingerie photo sets. Me too. And but it's so tempting to do more. But what started that progression from like maybe I'll take the top off. Like what was that about?
You get comfortable with it a lot easier than you think you're going to. I showed boobs. I went from just lingerie to just boobs in the mailers, the PTVs, the paid to view mails.
Yeah.
And then I made a lot of money because I was, people wanted to see. But then, you get that first bunch that like just wants to see, but you can't really keep selling your boobs in the mailers. So then I went to mailers or boobs on the main feed, and I didn't jump from $5,000 a month. I couldn't break that threshold until I showed vagina. I know, right? For me.
Vagina is the $5,000 threshold.
Yeah, that's when I finally broke it, was when I started showing vagina. Not even my boobs would do it. And I have pretty fantastic boobs, if I must say so myself.
I have not seen yet, but I'll have to go check the work later. But at each of these stages, like, were there new conversations with your husband?
Yeah, like at first, what
were his reactions like along the way?
He was very much on, like, at first he was fine with lingerie. He was even fine with boobs. Okay. He didn't want like vagina, neither did I. But then like the money was just so, I was like, what, I can make so much money. And he's like, oh, fuck it, do it. And if you're comfortable, I'm comfortable. So then I did it. And then, after I showed vagina, it came the talk of like, can I work with someone if they're not a man, And so we decided, yeah, I can.
Sure. Have you done a lot of collabs like that yet? Or
I've only collabed with one person. Because it's still hard for me. Like, I'm still, I guess, kind of prudish. I don't know. Like, I can't, like, I don't know. Like, I definitely want to do a few more with a few more people, probably, but like,
just a few.
Like, I don't think I'll have a ton of people, because it's like, it is kind of hard for me. I don't know.
Yeah. What's the difficulty?
I don't know.
When you say it's hard, like, what's the emotion you're feeling? Is it while you're doing it? Is it an anxiety leading up to it?
It's like I have to have emotions to like have like good sex. Like, I can't just have sex with strangers.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for me. And like, it works for a lot of people, no judgment. Like, but I can't do it. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
But for the intents and purposes of a shoot, is so that you're kind of committed to like, I want to show like good sex or real sex, the way you like naturally have sex.
Yeah. I mean, we were like with my shooting partner.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're non-binary. And we were friends, so it wasn't the first time we shot was the first time we met though in person.
Really?
And it was awkward. Like, our stuff we've done since then is better than that first time, because like, it is. And then there were people in the other room. Like, it was a little meetup, so there were people like there for it, and I'd never met any of them either.
Wait, what was the meetup part of it?
There was just me, them, and two girls just from Twitter had met up for the first time.
Okay.
While me and them were shooting.
Was like everyone there to do like various shoot?
No, they were just there to hang out.
They were just there to hang out.
So we had an audience.
I was gonna say, I was like, I didn't know if they can just hear you in another room, if like they're just chilling in the corner on their phones.
No, they were there. It was
rooting you on, with someone holding a phone. Like,
my partner.
I don't know. I legit have a friend in Queens who texted me like a couple months ago. She's like, "Hey, I got a scene. Can you come like hold the camera?"
That is helpful. It is helpful.
I can do that. Then he bailed, and it was like, "Well, do you want to do the scene?" I was like, "Great, fine."
It is helpful. But yeah, we had one of them hold the phone, and that was definitely made some better angles. Last time we shot, we just did it ourselves, and yeah, I kind of wish we had a third person there holding the phone for some of it.
I like the idea you were like, well, our early work wasn't great, but like we've approved upon selecting you.
I mean, it wasn't bad by any means, but I think there's a lot of editing that we did it in a shower. Like, we decided to do oral sex in a shower, okay. And so behind scenes, you're drowning. There are so many cuts that the people that watch it don't see, right, of us drowning. Like, we were drowning in the pussy. Like, it was a real thing. So, not as sexy as you would think. I think it came out pretty sexy for the people, but like, they don't see all the outtakes.
Right. So like, what makes it better now? What's so much better about the porn you shoot with that person now versus then?
I'm more comfortable with them for sure now. Like, just.
But is your comfort like? Can you like visually see that? Like, if I was watching like maybe not the shower one, but like if I was watching the second scene y'all did and the most recent scene you did, would I be able to like be like, oh, she looks a lot more comfortable here?
people called it out in the first few makeout scenes we did. They said I looked a little stiff. I looked a little, and it literally, I just met them, and it's, those first few makeout, we had put out a couple makeout scenes that was literally the first ones we did. So when it comes to like the first full length, I don't think you can really tell, but yeah, the first few makeout ones, because it's awkward. It's like if me and you just started making out right now, like, I don't know, would that be awkward for you? Because it'd be awkward for me.
I don't blame anyone for feeling awkward making out with me. I think that is the correct policy position. Not weird for me. Making out's like one of my favorite things to do. Like I used to go to a makeout party here in New York City.
Me too. Not as an adult.
Oh,
not
as
in
an
New
adult.
York City, but as a teenager all the time.
I was a fucking wildly rambunctious Catholic teenager.
I was making out with everybody.
Just good for you. Just find whatever loopholes you want.
Wait, are these like adult makeout parties in New York City?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're doing them now. My community apparently had one before COVID that I wasn't in town for. So I'm looking forward, because now the sex party community I go to, like they do a lot of events. And so apparently they started doing makeout parties. So I'm like,
and it's just making out.
Yeah, well, this was a different venue, but yeah, they like you can maybe slip in some fingering if you wanted to be subtle, but that was like really it. You couldn't be naked, and it is making out only, like no bits and pieces.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually really awesome, because I feel like a lot of adults are like, that's just teenage stuff.
No, oh my gosh, it's so fun.
Yeah,
between
I agree.
like making out with just totally random people via like a spin the bottle game or some Jenga thing, or just talking, vibing, chatting with someone. Because isn't that some of the most exciting sexual attention, is when you're chatting with someone or chatting and flirting, there's clearly a vibe and connection, and now you're just like waiting for like, are we going to make out? To me, that's way more intense than the are we gonna fuck. I could care less about the are we gonna fuck tonight, because I'm like, if we keep hanging out, we'll probably fuck at some point. It's not the most, it's not the end all be all for me. But that, are we going to kiss? Are we going to make out? Our tongues going to touch? That's the fun, exciting, hot stuff.
That's, I feel like, more intense than the going from making out to having sex, because like, no shit.
If I can't make out with someone, or if the kissing isn't like connecting well, it's actually less exciting.
Then the fucking is bad.
I went to go eat out a stranger at midnight last week, because my life is weird. But I'm going to kiss her, and like the chemistry, she's like, no, I just like want someone to like lick my pussy. I'm like, okay.
And she didn't want you to kiss her first?
It wasn't that she didn't want me to kiss her, but like you could when I was like, hey, can I kiss you? And then she's like, yeah. And then we would kiss, and you could tell she's kind of more like waiting for me to just go down on her. And I'm like, well, that's a little less exciting.
Yeah, like hurried up, like, no, I don't
hurry
want
up
to be
with
rushed.
your weird high school antics, Procida. Get to business. I'm like, all right.
A lot of adults are like that, though, I think.
Yeah. Well, I've been in certain group sex environments where, like, say there's like a married couple involved, and they always say, you can fuck her ass and you can fuck her, do this, don't kiss my wife. And I'm like, oh yeah.
There are a lot of men that I have known men that they will hook up with other men, like they will go down on them, but they won't make out with a man because they think that's too intimate.
Right. Again, it's like
it is kind of intimate.
It's
though.
intimate, but
you know how many
so
germs are in your mouth?
No, I do not. I don't know if I want to know. In my mouth, probably many.
Like, I mean, there's just, the mouth is such a dirty, like, I don't know. But like, so I feel like that is more kind of intimate.
You do makeout videos?
Yeah,
do those perform well?
Yeah, if we're, we do like, naked.
Okay.
Schoolgirl we did.
But do you do just making out?
Yeah, we have a few. They're just little clips, or like 2-minute clips, and people like them. I
was thinking not too long ago, like, oh, I wonder if that is a thing, because I would love to do makeout porn.
Yeah,
I was
you should try and see.
Yeah, because I have friends who I would like pitch that. I was thinking like, oh, I could pitch that to Amelia. Like, it was like, oh, we're friends. Like, but I didn't even know if that was a thing, which is kind of the fun part of like playing around in this space that I'm not used to, and you're doing quite well in, but also only for like a year or two. And, right. This whole like, oh, what are we gonna do on camera sexually world that the porn stars have just been doing for forever, and like negotiating that. Like, I never thought I would say to someone like, do you want to do a blowjob scene for your benefit? Like, that's a weird concept to me, because I, in my sex life, would never be like, would you just like to suck my dick? I'm sure you'll love it.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't do that. So it's so weird, right? Like to like.
I mean, they might. Depends on what they're into.
They might, but like my attitude is more like to like, oh, give first, take later. But then in with porn, it's like no. They love blowjob scenes. Please let me do.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, okay. It's not my instinct.
You got to think like when you're watching a TV show, like those makeout scenes. I mean, they're hot. You know what I mean? Don't you feel like that? I mean, that they don't show a lot of sex on TV show. It's usually a hot makeout.
That's why I had to jerk off to until I was like 14.
Exactly. Like it's usually mostly making out and then alluding to the fact that they had sex. So that definitely sells. But you know what? I think it probably sells more girl and guy if I had to guess, honestly, when it comes to making out. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure boy-girl does.
There's definitely something about like the transgressive act.
Yes.
Is there a type of porn that you want to shoot that you've not shot yet?
Just different scenes, probably. We want to shoot in like a jacuzzi in Vegas, like a hot tub in Vegas. They have one we're looking at that's like literally like a hanging hot tub. So you're like
hanging hot tub?
Yeah, like you're like in a building, you can see, you're just pretty much outside. You can see all the buildings. I mean, we filmed in the mountains, like we were pretty high up and you could see the scenery. I really like changing it up. I feel like they don't want to see constantly just you in a bed. You know what I mean? So I kind of like adding that like little extra thing that they don't see every day. It doesn't have to be crazy sex. It just has to be like something unique.
Dope. And do you think that doing porn is something you're going to continue doing as a career shift? Is there something else that creatively you would like to do? Is unapologetic feminist in a way going to come back in a different form?
I only want to do it for like a few years.
Yeah.
I think. It's not something that like I want to do forever. Like it's fun. It's fun. And I, get to experience like, non-binary and girl stuff, which I never got to. My partner's non-binary, but they're more femme presenting. So I get to experience like those areas that I wouldn't. And I get to make the kind of money that I wouldn't make elsewhere. Like I just wouldn't. And so my main goal with it really is to put that money somewhere, in different places that I will be able to never have to work for somebody else again and do whatever I want creatively for the rest of my life. Because like I'm always probably going to be doing something creative because that's just my passion. Like I think that's why I excel at OnlyFans is one, because a big platform I get the people over there is from TikTok. And so I get to be creative that way. And two, I do a lot of different creative, just themes and, I did a Star Wars and I bought a lightsaber dildo that lit up and it had sounds and people went nuts for that. I did a Pikachu one where I have a Pikachu tail butt plug and I really commit to the scene. Things like that. I love being creative and I really think that's one area of where I excel and I think that's why I do well. So I would love to take the money from that and put it into another area where I can also be creative. And yeah, I'm always going to use my voice and be an activist. The main thing I want to do is empower women. I want to teach women how to do this if they want to do it. I want to put together a course because all the courses out there are like $150, $200. I want to put together maybe a $20 course.
On OnlyFans?
Yeah, that people can afford to do. I want to teach women, how to succeed in different areas. I want to get into the stock market and crypto, and then I want to teach women how to do that. So it definitely all comes back to I want to empower women. Yeah, that's a big passion of mine. So it'll always circle back there.
That's awesome. And Michelle, where can people go to find you, to find your work?
It's Hey Guido. So you can go on Twitter. Instagram, TikTok, and then of course OnlyFans. But the Hey is with 2 Y's, which is basically just because when I signed up for a Twitter account, 1 Y was taken.
No, definitely. Some guy down the shore in Jersey definitely had Hey Guido.
Yeah.
Taken. Yeah.
So,
probably
you know,
my cousin.
So you got to put in the double Y there, and you can find me across platforms.
Fantastic. Well, people, go check all that out. And thanks again for making time to chat with me. I hope you enjoy your time in New York.
Thank you.
And why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. I had a really fun time filming it, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it.
Have you ever wanted to call into the Man Whore podcast and hear your comments or hear your question in your earbuds? Then call in today for the month of October only. We're testing this out. I'm just trying to see, is there a demand for this? Okay. If I don't get calls, if I don't get messages left, I'm not going to keep it going. But for the month of October, if you want to leave a audio comment or question that you might hear on the podcast, call in to 646-580-1351. Again, that's 646-580-1351. If you're a little more shy and you'd rather write it down, you can always send me an email with your questions, your comments, your criticisms, your Man Whore Podcast fan art. I don't know. You can send any and all of that over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. And if you want to share your comments and thoughts on this week's episode or any of our past episodes, we'd love to hear them in the Champagne Room. Introduce yourself today at manwhorepod.com/Discord. I know at the outro here, I always give you a bunch of things and maybe you catch 1 or 2 of them. It's always in the show notes. If you're ever just like, what was the thing? What's the phone number? It's in the show notes, people. All of them are always in the show notes. You know what else is in the show notes? A link to see my dick. Yeah, if you want to see more of Billy for some crazy reason, if you want to see some of the sexual shenanigans I have with my really, really sexy friends like Lucy Moon or Sonia Harcourt, or even my ex, Miss Giggles, you can go follow that at onlyfans.com/callmebilly. Hey, look, buying my nudes, ordering customs, paying to flirt with me in the DMs, that's a great way to support the show. But if you want to support the show with my pants on, I very much understand that. We'd love to have you join Fan Whore Nation on Patreon so I can keep doing what I'm doing here, Become a member today. Support the podcast that you love for as little as $2 at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Oh, y'all, I mean, some of y'all know this who follow me closely on Instagram, and some of y'all have heard me slip little hints here and there, like girlfriend this, girlfriend that. In due time, I promise to gush and share more. But for now, I just want to give you the quickest update that my heart is so full right now. My heart is so full, like my balls, and just Billy's feeling real good. Stay slutty, everybody. Dogecoin to the moon? Ready to buy the dip? Start investing in cryptocurrency today with Coinbase. And you can get $10 worth of Bitcoin for free after signing up at manwhorepod.com/crypto. Come on, how much longer is this fiat thing gonna last?